Welcome back. And now we have with us over the telephone our guest, Engineer Hassan Shabaan, our political analyst. A very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Hassan, for your time. Let's start by discussing the Egyptian efforts and the diplomatic efforts by Egypt, by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, of course, chaired by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, regarding the calls for reaching a negotiation, a political agreement, and de-escalating the situation with regards to the U.S.-Iran war.
Well, definitely Egypt is adopting a very wise diplomatic and political line, actually.
Yes.
Now everybody's appreciating the role that Egypt is playing. A lot of people, praised the role that Egypt is playing in trying to, get the area back to normal.
Yes,
because
stability.
Actually,
yes,
this war was a surprise to everybody. The size of the American attack and the Israeli attacks on Iran was not expected. Also, the negotiations between both parties, the American party and the Iranian side, were going fine, and everybody expected a peaceful settlement for the dispute between the U.S. and Iran. But suddenly the U.S. surprised everybody with this attack. That was not an attack. This is a declaration of war, actually.
Engineer Hassan, now Egypt reiterated from the very beginning its rejection of any escalation of any military attacks, and Egypt has placed such a strong emphasis on the issue of dialogue as a primary path to resolving any conflicts. How do you see the formal rhetoric by Egypt, and how they have continuously called for dialogue, for negotiation, reiterating, of course, rejection of attacks on the Gulf states and other Arab countries?
You see, we started actually earlier than the ignition of this dispute, actually. We started, and we actually received a lot of the Iranians officials in Cairo,
in Egypt, yes.
and we are actually coordinating with our friends in Turkey and Saudi. We actually praised the efforts of Oman, and Oman was playing a very positive role, very wise, and again, we're going to build on this, actually. We're not going to let down our friends in the Gulf and in Iran. This dispute should be resolved, immediately, because once it escalates more than this, we might lose control over, this war, and it might drag other parties into this.
Yes.
So, actually, Egypt is playing a very positive role.
Absolutely.
I think, this war will, point out to our friends in the Gulf and the region, actually, that it is very important that we should have a military, form similar to the NATO, if I may use this term, to have an Arabic force that actually could defend the area against any attacks. Foreign bases in the Middle East, in spite of the fact that these foreign bases actually were meant to protect the area, actually these bases actually was a reason.
Engineer Hassan, as you mentioned, Cairo has played a very positive and key role since the beginning, the main message being to keep diplomacy alive, as you said. Now, Egypt has framed this current or this recent development as a moment where every de-escalation opening could matter, welcoming any initiatives that could really reduce tensions and urging the region to seize on any opportunities in favor of dialogue. What do you see the push towards this happening in the near future?
I think Egypt enjoys, strong strategic, relations with the U.S. And I think, the threat that President Trump made a few days ago about the attack on the energy and electricity power
which
plants
was then
and stuff
delayed
like that,
by himself
and then
as well.
he postponed this, decision.
Yes.
This will give Egypt a chance to coordinate with the U.S. I mean, this is might be a good beginning for a peaceful negotiation.
Yes.
I think Egypt should host these negotiations this time. Actually, we could coordinate with our friends in Oman, and they're our friends, and we could actually play a positive role and host the peaceful and diplomatic negotiations in Cairo, in Sharm el Sheikh, and whatever. But I think we could, through the Arab League as well in the future, have a better performance as Arabs in the area.
Right,
we need to coordinate between one another. But again, Egypt could host a conference and a lot of sides like from the European Union and stuff like that could actually attend these negotiations this time.
As long as we can, as long as we can, of course, as you said, get them all to the same negotiating table. I'm going to have to leave it at that. Engineer Hassan Shabaan, our political analyst and our guest, many thanks, sir, for your time and your insight and for joining us this afternoon here on Nile TV International. A short break and we'll be back. Stay tuned. Back and still moving with more news. Egypt has recovered state assets valued at 1.2 billion Egyptian pounds and generated an additional 1.4 billion Egyptian pounds in treasury revenues. The Finance Minister Ahmed Kuchuk said, citing efforts led by the Asset Recovery and Seizure Management Authority. In a statement, he said the government is working to unlock new investment opportunities